Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pageant Sit Down. I'm your host, Regina Lena, and I am so excited for all of you to be joining us on this lovely, hot evening here in the Greater Toronto Area. I am even more excited because we are bringing the heat with our guest. If you know her, you know what I mean. She is none other than our Miss Galaxy York 2020-21, Macielle Mateo. Hey girl, hey.
Hey girl. Don't kill me about bringing the heat. Like, it's already hot outside. We're not trying to raise the temperature some more.
Well, goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. Well, first off, thank you for joining us this evening. I know there are a bunch of people who are watching and maybe some who don't know who you are and don't know why I'm talking about all this heat. So, Macielle, would you mind telling our viewers a little bit about yourself?
For sure. So if anybody wants my full legal name, it's Karina Macielle Mateo Sanchez.
Whoa.
So we cut that down and we just refer to me as Macielle Mateo. I am born and raised in Toronto. I am Torontonian through and through. I am half Dominican, half Nicaraguan, so there's quite a bit of spiciness in this jumbo.
Love it.
I am currently not doing much during the pandemic, and I am loving every moment of it because honestly, I feel like I just needed a little bit of a pause in life.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it had to come in this form, which I'm not very thrilled about because honestly, the circumstances are just not great for it. But trying to make the most of the situation and just resting a lot, studying a lot because I'm doing my master's right now. So I'll be done at the end of August.
Woo.
And I know I'm so excited to be done. I don't want to pick up another book. But as soon as I'm done that, I have to start prepping for the bar in November. So that'll just be more work for me. But honestly, it's good work and I really love it.
So you are not only a beauty, but you are also brains. So from my understanding, you are in law school, correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
That is amazing. I want to jump into a question on Instagram, actually. So, well, first off, there's one that is a comment, says beautiful and smart. What is it like switching from beauty queen to lawyer mode?
You don't switch.
Oh.
You don't switch. That's actually one of the, I get that question quite often. It's like, oh, well, with all of the million things that you do, how hard is it to kind of switch between the two? And I'm like, it's actually not hard at all. I think that one of the things that you can take away from pageantry is presentation and speaking skills. So the fact that you can kind of carry that and translate that just about into anything. And one of the things that you would probably want your lawyer to have is some kind of presentation and some kind of speaking skills. I mean, it wouldn't be very tasteful for you to go into an office and they don't know how to communicate and they're just kind of chilling at their desk, disheveled and eating some chips. I mean, that's definitely not the look that we would want to go for anything. So I think that the beauty of pageantry is that it's so broad that you can take so many different elements from it and use it in your everyday life.
It's true. Another question from Instagram is, how does she manage competing, work, and law school?
The trick is, I don't. I think you have to find the balance between what are the similarities between everything and kind of just build upon that. So I'm very fortunate and lucky enough that my job is not something that takes up too much of my time. I'm fortunate enough to leave my workplace and work stays at work, so it doesn't really follow me anywhere. I have been guilty of taking my books to work and studying while I'm there. So, I mean, it sometimes things are slow and you kind of have to multitask. So I definitely try to multitask as much as possible. But I think competing, if you look at competing as a task or as a job, that's kind of the wrong mentality to kind of have an approach with it. I think that we all compete because we have a love for it. It's, for some of us, we take it, I mean, competing is our life. Competing is our job. But for some of us, it's a hobby that we really look forward to every single year. So if you look at it in all of the positive ways, then nothing is really as hard. Of course, like when crunch time comes, you know, there's an exam, work is busy, we're 10-15 days out from nationals, and you're stressing because your swimsuit hasn't arrived yet. I mean, these things happen, but you kind of have to take a breather and be like, it's all gonna work out, everything's gonna be fine. Always have a plan B, a plan C, and if you're as paranoid as I am, have a plan elemental. Yeah, I am so horrible at like having a plan A and just sticking to my plan A, because I always think that the worst case scenario is going to happen. And it very rarely does, but I'm always prepared.
Oh my god.
So just be prepared.
And that's also what will make you a great lawyer, is the fact that you know anything can happen, anything will happen. So it's always great to be prepared. That's great. I never really saw law and pageantry to go hand in hand, but when you put it that way, it does go hand in hand.
It does. I mean, it goes with everything. People want to bar off pageantry as something that's very kind of elitist and selective. But in reality, if you look at the sisterhood behind it and you look at the support system that you gain from it, I mean, I was in quite a bind. I don't know when it was. I think it was towards the beginning of this year. And I messaged some of my sisters and I was like, hey guys, like I have a little bit of a situation. Can anybody help me out? Girl, it took less than 2 minutes and my problem was solved.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, like, if you have a wonderful, strong community behind you, especially if you're a woman and you have women supporting you, and what is not possible if you have that kind of support system behind you? Like, everything is literally possible, which is why we're always daydreaming.
It's true. And you know, the Miss division of Canada Galaxy, there are a lot of you this year. And being York, I'm pretty sure you're towards the end, if not the last one. How is that for you? Because, you know, you came 2 years ago for the 2020 pageant. You did amazing, first and foremost. And then now you've had the 2 years to prepare. And the numbers keep going up and up and up and up in registration. What is that like for you?
Oh my gosh, girl. Honestly, at the beginning, I was kind of like, oh, there's only 10 of us. I was like, oh, I got this. This is no problem. I'm good. And I think the last time I counted, we're at like 44 or 45. How am I supposed to compete with 45 other amazingly stunning, talented women? And I was like, that's the flaw in my thinking. I'm not supposed to compete with them. And I was, as soon as I took myself out of that mentality, the stress was gone. And I was like, I'm not even going to think about competing against them. I'm just going to think about building with them. And it's been like these past 2 years, I mean, the friendships that I've made with these women, it's like, it's incredible. It's amazing. I mean, some of them just message me just to say hi. How many people went to just to say hi these days? It usually is a, hey, so I was just wondering if, but it's never like something that's attached to it. It's genuine concern for you. It's genuine care for you. I mean, the moment that I took myself out of this, I'm going to have to compete and destroy my competition like an athlete. Like, forget about it. Like, that doesn't exist here. And it's been proven time and time again between the group of us just communicating on a daily basis and just talking bare foolishness amongst us. And even like while we were watching Miss Universe, it was like, it was so much fun. Like, we were just, how are we supposed to get to that level? And it's everybody wants to elevate, but they want to take everybody with them at the same time. So it's like, and that's kind of the one side of athleticism that I would put into pageantry, that it's, nobody wants to compete with somebody at their worst. You want to compete with somebody at their best possible position. So in order for you to do that, you have to make sure that all the girls are good, that they're all steady, that everybody is supporting each other, that nobody pulls any dirty stuff, because that's just a no-no. And I mean, if we're all on the same level, then who really cares who ends up winning at the end of it? I think we're all champions and we're all winners at the end of the day because we had the guts and the lady balls to get on that stage, really just hammer it through.
No, and you're right. I love that you're able to see it that way because there are some people who get in their head and they end up spiraling. And the fact that you're able to take yourself out of that before the spiral happened and realize, hang on, they're all amazing women. I think that's very empowering. And I'm sure they're all the same way. But you're asking, how are you going to stand out? Girl, are you not the last one?
I am. I think I am the dead last one.
So there you go. There you go. You're asking yourself these questions. So, girl, you placed yourself last. Last in the line, not last in the competition. Sorry, let's not put that out there.
Cindy placed me last because I kept arguing. I was like, I live in North York. She's like, you live in York. Open a map. And I was like, I think she's right.
You sounded just like her at that second. This is amazing. Well, actually, you and Cindy, you met in a very interesting way. We don't need to talk about how you met online or on air because she'd hate me for that. But I mean, so she got you to join Canada Galaxy in her own Cindy way. But have you ever competed in a pageant beforehand?
No.
So Galaxy's been your first pageant?
Yeah. Cindy was the first person I've ever met that was in that world. And I was so genuinely curious because I was like, I mean, just the perception that I had of it, it's like, you have to be over 6 feet. You have to be super thin. You have to be this, and that. And I mean, I'm not very tall, but if I stand next to Cindy is not, it's not reaching my head, man. She's not reaching me.
So you better hope she's not watching this right now.
And then, but honestly, like, she just sat down. She had the patience, first of all, to just like explain everything to me, which was like wonderful. And I was like, I can see why you're in it. Like, you're stunning. Like, come on now. And she's super extroverted and she's just so much fun. So it's like, how can you not see the charm and the appeal in her? Like, of course that she would do something, but I couldn't put myself in her position. I couldn't envision myself taking myself out of my everyday life and just being like, I can do this. And then it was Cindy that made me realize that I'm not taking myself out of my everyday life. I'm really just embracing myself as a person, as a woman, and flaws and all. Like, that's really what ends up making a person. So she was like, yeah, take all those stereotypes out of your head. That's not what it is. And I was like, are the girls mean? She was like, that's the farthest thing that any of them are. And like I said, some of these girls are a godsend. So I am here for anybody that's like, hey, I don't think pageantry is for me because I look like this or my body shape is this. Listen, I'm 5'6". I weigh 180 pounds. Most of it is on my butt. Like, I have cellulite all over the place. I am the farthest from the mold that you would think would fit into pageantry. And I'm here. And I'm doing rather well in it. And I feel comfortable and confident in my body, something that I did not feel before. And I did not think that being in a swimsuit on a stage would be the thing that would have given me that push.
Well, on that note, you kept me speechless. No, but I think it's great that you were able to gain all this confidence from pageantry because it's true. You do have that mindset of, oh, pageantry is this. There's a checklist of what a pageant girl is supposed to look like or be like. And, my next question to you as you were talking would have been, what did you learn about yourself? But you showed us and you told us exactly what you learned. And I think it's great because that is why I have this podcast, is for people to take this perception of what they have on what a pageant girl is and to do their research and to learn that all these women and men have their own story and they're more than what you see on TV. So I'm so glad that you were able to push through and really embrace yourself. So okay, here's a question for you. You've now done Galaxy Canada the first time, your very first pageant, and you mentioned that you gained a lot of confidence and you gained a lot of from this experience. So what are you going to do now moving forward from your first experience to now your second time being at Galaxy?
So one of the things that I'm doing specifically for health reasons, not for anything else, is that I am not going to eat cookies every day. I
I'm
know that's
guilty. I got a cookie right here.
I am dead ass not attacking you. I just
Yes, you are.
the gluten, girl. The gluten. It just makes me puff. I don't need that in
Yeah.
my life.
No, that's fair.
So I mean, it's helped me. I got a trainer. It's really helped me kind of just, and I have a problem when it comes to controlling what I eat.
Mm-hmm.
And there are days that I don't eat anything. There are days where I will binge eat my entire fridge. So it is a problem. And if there is Netflix involved, it is a worse problem because then now I have DoorDash. So it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, my fridge is empty. That's fine. Someone will come drop off some food for me in like 15 minutes. So it's just like, I am trying to just live a healthier lifestyle because first of all, I would like to make it to 40 without clogged arteries. That's number one. And then secondly, it's such an empowering feeling when you put on a dress that you bought last year and it still fits this year, girl.
Yes.
Could not do that with my bad eating habits. And if anybody has any bad eating habits, like this is not to like criticize you, this is not to knock you, this is not to be like, hey, you need to get that fixed. No, this was a problem that I know that I have, that I identified and I'm trying to deal with. So definitely a healthy lifestyle, and as per Cindy's request, going natural. So like the first time that I went, that I did Galaxy, I mean, I had all of my hair straightened. Then on the second day, it was just a whole bunch of rollers. So it was like hairspray galore. Girl, I almost passed out in the seat. Like,
I was there.
I almost passed out in the seat. I was like, you know what? We're avoiding this that time.
We got you water. I remember.
The anxiety hit me and I was like, I can't do this. I was ready to go home. And I was like, I don't really need all of this, I think. For anybody that wants to, then yeah, go ahead. But for me, it was just such an overwhelming experience that my body just literally started to break down and just like, it said, nah, girl, that's not for you. So this time around, I'm going natural. I'm wearing my hair natural. I saw Miss United States. Hey, shout out to her, just rocking that ponytail, rocking that puff. And I was like, I can do this. So I'm definitely embracing the natural sides of me. Like I mentioned to you, and I won't be telling anybody else, there's some accessories that'll be coming along with the natural hair. So,
yes.
I mean, and for any girls that are like, have natural hair and they feel that need to kind of like conform and just, you know, straighten your hair and it's really not what you want, don't do it. Why do it? Why bother? Embrace every aspect of yourself, because that's authenticity is what wins 100%. This. Authenticity is what pushes you through. So like if you can really have this, then why not?
No, and I think that's amazing. I think that's really empowering as well, not just for you, but for anybody else that has naturally curly hair. You know, representation is something huge that we've been talking about a lot this past year, and you know, to be able to share that representation on stage as well. Like you said, Miss USA, she had her hair natural a few years ago and she rocked it, you know, and I think it's great that you've put your foot down and you're like, no, I'm not going through that again. And I think that's important, is for you to know who you are and feel comfortable in who you are. And again, like, it's not just for you, but for every other little girl after you who will watch. And I'm sure there will be some at Galaxy who will be like, I want my hair natural too, mommy.
Yeah, I'm sure they're just going to want to put their hand in my head and just be like, why is it so big? But you know what, if that's what gets them to like embrace their curls, and like also there's that perception that like, okay, it's only Black women that are going to be rocking their natural hair. Like curly hair is everywhere. Like what ethnicity does not have curly hair? Like, we could all be rocking our curly hair if we really wanted
This
to.
is not natural, by the way. I did it for you, and then your hair was in a pony or in a bun, and I was like, fine.
I appreciate the work, but just my hair just didn't want to cooperate today. I mean, these are the struggles that you have with natural hair. There are some days that it wants to cooperate, some days that it really doesn't. Today, my hair woke up and chose violence. This is just what it is.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. Okay, well, we are actually at the halfway point of our show. The conversation is flying by, and I absolutely love when it does that. But we do have a segment on this show, which is 5 tips from a beauty queen. And I know, being a lawyer or a law student and a beauty queen, you definitely are the right person to go to for these things. So, Macielle, what would be your top 5 pageant tips for anyone watching us today?
Okay, this is a loaded question because I can give you like 26, but that's fine. I'll only give you 5. So definitely the first one is embrace everything about yourself. I think that I don't know how many times I've stressed it in like these past 20 minutes, but like, if there is something that you particularly love about yourself or even don't like about yourself, rock it. Rock it, because there will be a point in time where that thing that you really didn't like, for example, I really don't like my knees. Why don't I like my knees? People don't even complain about their knees, but here I am complaining about my knees. I don't know why. I just don't like my knees. But I've started just wearing shorts, exposing my knees. And guess what? I realized that my knees look like everybody else's, and I don't really know why I have this particularity with my knees. But, you know, that's just what it is. So I don't really try to hide them anymore. Tip number 2, definitely stay authentic. All of the girls that have met me know that I have my wonderful hood side, and I embrace it with every inch of me. And there's moments where she has to go away, and that's fine. But she comes out and she's fun. So embrace every part of you, where even you might think that people might be set off or put off by it. That's generally not going to be the reaction. And if that is the reaction, then maybe some of those people are not the people that you really want to have around you. Because if you constantly have to change yourself to be more likable for somebody else, then maybe that's just not a mesh, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, how many people are there in this world? Like 45 billion? Come on, girl. Not all of them are going to like you. That's fine. Tip number 3, break in your shoes. Break in your shoes, girls. Don't buy your shoes 2 weeks before and think you're going to be fine. Nobody on stage noticed, but I will let everybody know now. I did not break my shoes in. And while we had to do the opening number, I grabbed clear tape. I like on one of the breaks, I ran to Shoppers Drug Mart. I got packing tape, clear, and I taped my foot into my shoe because I could not break my shoe in, and I kept wanting to take them off. So I literally taped myself into my shoe because I did not break it in time. I was not practicing in the shoes that I knew I was going to wear on that day. And I had to tape myself into my shoe. You know what? It was not the most lovely experience. And when I look back on the opening number, you can kind of see the glare from the tape. But I mean, ain't nobody want to tape who really wants to tape their foot to their shoe? Let's avoid that. So please break in your shoes with an appropriate amount of time. And if you find out that the shoe is really just uncomfortable, you can't do it, find another pair of shoes. Because you only got 2 feet, and then you can't replace those. I mean, there's hip surgery, there's knee surgery, but you can't get foot surgery. Tip number 4. Oh, God. Definitely know what makeup works for you ahead of time, and speak to your makeup artist. I got really, 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 really lucky. My makeup artist was Blair. And I went to her with a picture, because ahead of time, I tried out a whole bunch of different eye looks, and my eyes are kind of small. Like they look sort of big sometimes depending on how I do my makeup, but they're actually very small. For the amount of head and forehead that I have, like I always tell people that I can rent out this space for like advertisement because of how big it is. but like my eyes don't really give me the space to kind of cover this up. I have small eyes. That's just what it is. But I prepped beforehand what was really going to work for my face. And sometimes, I mean, makeup artists are artists. They will take certain liberties with themselves because at the end of the day, they are very creative and sometimes they know what works. But there's this small percentage that doesn't really end up like it's a miss. It's usually a hit, but you don't want to be the miss. So, I mean, if you want to be the miss queen, yes, but you don't want to be the miss when it comes to your makeup. And my lashes were stunning, but I could not see anything. So prep all of these things very much ahead of time. If you have your foundation, go with your foundation. The amount of girls that did not take their foundation with them and they had 2 different colors between their face and their chest, and I could see the difference because you didn't get a spray tan, or you got a spray tan and you didn't get a foundation that matched the spray tan. I'm sorry, girls. I'm calling you out. That was a whole that was a whole ass mess. That was a whole ass mess. We need to come better. We need to do better. We need to unite, and we need to unite the colors on our face and on our chest, because it was too much of a disparity there. And that was like Moses said, we're parting ways, man. I can't. So please, if you have your foundation, carry your foundation with you. Know what works for you. If you tanned, go to Sephora and get color matched, because if not, that's a wrap. And my last tip is talk to the other girls in your category. Talk to them, build bonds, build relationships, because those are lasting relationships. And on your darkest of days, they will come clutch for you. Like, I had some really dark days when it came to like the pandemic. Like, I would call them crying because I, like, for no reason. Ask me what my trigger was. Can't tell you. Don't know what it was. Can't see it. Like, I would just break down, and I would call them and I'd be like, I don't know what's going on with me. And they'd be like, okay, we're going to do grounding. Ready? Grab a candle. Like, they came clutch like Navy SEALs. These girls were like, do you need a card? I will send you a card, like sending me care packages. These girls come clutch for you. But that won't happen if you stay in your bubble. So talk to the people in your categories, build friendships with them. You don't have to build friendships with all of them. I mean, like, we're not all going to like each other. We just have to be friendly with each other. But you don't know if one of your best friends is going to come out of that whole situation. I mean, one of my closest friends right now came out of Galaxy, and I didn't even know her. She just popped into my DMs, and I was like, who's this white girl? I was like, what is she doing in my DMs? Why does she want to talk to me? I'm just such a rough person sometimes that I forget that people are just genuinely nice. And she was like, I just wanted to present myself. Like, my name is Cassandra. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll talk to you. I love the girl. I actually cannot live without the girl. So build relationships with each other, because they will be lasting. And when push comes to shove and somebody needs to tape your foot into a shoe, they're going to be there for you.
Oh my God, I love that. I was laughing the entire time. I'm glad that my microphone has a mute button.
It's true. Like, you really, like, when you're backstage and your minutes before you have to come out and your bathing suit is riding up, and one of those girls pull you back and they're like, I have butt glue for you. Mm-hmm. And they glue you to your swimsuit. That is a level of respect, sisterhood, and human decency. Because at the end of the day, they could have let you go out there and have your bathing suit ride up, and then you're walking all awkward because you can't be on stage just like trying to fix a wedgie.
I mean, you could, but
I mean, are we really gonna resort to that?
No, but
I mean, that literally could have been me, but no, some of these girls really came clutch for me, and they're really looking out for everybody in that room. Mm-hmm. As we're getting ready. I can't tell you how many times these girls were like, oh, no, sweetie, we need to fix something. And I really appreciated it, because it was my first pageant. I didn't know how this was going to go. And had those women not stepped in to help me, I would have been a whole hot mess, not just a little hot mess.
You know, the situation that you're saying reminds me so much of that scene in Miss Congeniality where she comes out and she's a hot mess and she doesn't know what her lipstick is and they all come together to help her. That scene just came to my mind.
That was literally it. I was 2 seconds away from walking up with a wedgie and someone just, I almost fell back. The way this girl tugged on me, she was like, no, mm-mm. And she was like, and there's no sparkle, there's no glitter. She just started patting me with like glitter. And I was like, but it was beautiful because I shined like a diamond in the sky, girl. And my wedgie was non-existent. So that adds to you, girl.
There you go. Well, you know, those are 5 amazing tips. You know, I don't think I've laughed so hard. Like I said, I'm glad there's a mute button on this headset because they would have not heard your 5 tips. So if people wanted to find more about you or learn a little bit about your journey, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is Karina Macielle. You can find me on Twitter, but you're really not going to find me because I never open it. So if you really want to find me, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. My Facebook is Macielle Mateo. My DMs are always open for you guys if you ever have any questions. Sometimes it takes me a while to get to the requests because I just figured out how it works. Listen, I'm technology impaired. I don't know how none of this shit works, man. Like, I had to figure out that you go into a category.
There's a whole other category. Yep.
Like, they couldn't make it easier. I feel like one of those elderly citizens that are like, can you change the font on Facebook?
Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yeah, can you make it bigger, please? I'm to the point that I'm like holding my phone like this, like, yes.
Oh, but you know you can make the font on your phone bigger, right?
On my phone, yeah, but you can't do it on Facebook.
Oh, never mind. Ignore me. Well,
I know.
Well, those are amazing tips, like I said, and I love how authentic you were with what your tips were because it just shows who you really are. You are authentic. You literally live and breathe the tips that you gave us, and I think that was amazing. As hilarious as you are, you're also very insightful, and I love that. So I want to change gears a little bit. So you're a law student, you're a pageant girl, but I saw on Instagram you are a pianist and a singer.
Yeah, those are my hobbies.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So piano I've been playing since I was in the 5th grade. My dad actually wanted me to play in a merengue band. Never happened. He used to play. I do not. I play the piano. I'm classically trained. I dabble in a little bit of jazz. I went to a performing arts high school, so my life was basically performing. That's probably why I'm so extroverted nowadays. But the singing didn't come until maybe halfway through because it was mandatory for people to participate in certain choirs. And then I realized that my voice wasn't bad. But then same thing, like you find yourself in a very comforting environment. People really encourage you to embrace certain things. So one of the things that I've been working on, like very, very, very top secret, is that I'm working on some music right now. So I hope to release that sometimes towards the end of the year.
Top secret? You just leaked some information on the show?
Yeah, I'm giving you all the details, girl. Definitely. And then we're just going to try and, just pan out the kind of music that I love. I've been complaining that the era of ballads has kind of disappeared. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I really want to just bring that back and fuse it with R&B and just kind of like vibe with that. Like, just bring me Toni Braxton. That's basically what we're saying here. Just bring Toni, bring her back. So that's really it for music. I mean, I've taught, I'm not teaching right now. I'm kind of just taking a break from a lot of things because my mind is very overwhelmed and I have the memory of a goldfish. So if I look at something that's shiny, my memory's gone. I'm gone for the rest of the day.
So how is this background?
I've been so distracted with the background because like, if like some wind moves it, the glitter goes everywhere. So I'm like, I don't know if you've noticed, but my mind has been like, my eyes have been looking everywhere because I just can't focus. So now I'm trying to just look at the tip of your nose to like avoid any No, why are you having it? That's my focal point, girl.
Sorry,
Don't.
sorry. My apologies. No, I think it's great that, you have this passion for music. I'm so excited. I love music. I love especially like raw music that people write from their heart and things. We need to get you on the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, the other show that I'm on, because we talk to a lot of musicians, and I would love to have you on and promote you on that platform as well.
I love that.
So I'm excited for that. But in the meantime, I know you're anxiously preparing for Nationals for Canada Galaxy pageants. It's in 75 days. What are you looking forward to the most when it comes to Nationals?
Okay, that's a pretty loaded question. Why you gotta ask me all the hard questions today, girl? What is with this?
I'm sorry. Welcome to the Pageant Sit Down.
I know. It's so hard. This is harder than tell me about yourself.
Is it harder than the bar? I don't think so.
It definitely does. I don't know. I'm this time around, I am staying at the hotel. I do have my roommate. Shout out to Megan Lafont. That's my roomie. She's my next bestie. That's my best friend. I'm not saying the rest of the song. It's inappropriate. We're not doing it. I really, the nerdy part of me just really wants to spend time with everybody and kind of just get to know everybody as much as I possibly can. Because once we actually start getting on stage, it's just back to back to back to back to back. Like, you don't really have time to talk to anybody. Like, it's so difficult to do any of that, right? So I'm really looking forward to the time before we actually have to hit the stage, which is still pretty pressing, and everybody's going to be freaking out and having their little, their mini meltdowns and some of the stuff. It's just so funny because once you start looking back on it, you're like, did I really throw a temper tantrum over a rip in my
Did you?
In my hem? Did I?
Did you?
I did.
Oh.
I did it by myself.
Oh no.
I was walking, once again, have comfortable shoes and practice in your shoes, because I was walking in them and I tore the tip of my heel toward the hem that was done. So part of it was kind of flapping, and I was so angry because it took me 2 weeks to get that hemmed. So I was like, bruh, did I really just sabotage myself? And the girls were like, this isn't even a problem. And someone took it and they were like, this is fine. You don't even just breathe. So I was like, okay, let me just breathe and let me just relax. But
yeah,
if you don't have that kind of intimacy with the rest of the girls, they can't have that kind of raw conversation and be like, girl, you're freaking out for no reason. Just
they would just look at you and be like, is she okay?
She's not okay.
But,
just be side, okay. Cool.
I'm just so happy, this is your second time in a pageant, but hearing how your first experience went. I was there, like I said, I was in the chair next to you when you were ready to faint. I don't know if you remember because you were out of it. I just remember because I have a history of fainting as well. That's why I was like, we need to get her water, get her something.
That was you that yelled that? I remember the voice, but I couldn't peg the voice to the face.
That was me. Because I know you were a little out of it. I'm like, we need to get her water. We need to get her some kind of sugar. Who's got orange juice? Anything that I knew I would need in that moment. Yeah. I was like, we need to, and I'm obviously in my chair, so I couldn't run up and get it for you. But, you had a lot of experience in one weekend for your first pageant, and I'm just glad to see that you're back and you're even more confident than you were, because I didn't think that you could get any more confident.
That's cap.
So I am just so excited to see your journey, see you continuing with the pageant bug now, and just to see how things end up in 75 days, because I know you've been working really hard on yourself. But I do want to touch base on your platform, because I know this is something important that a lot of people ask is, what is your platform? Especially being new to pageantry, do you have a pageant platform?
I do. So I think it's very evident where I stand on a lot of things, but my platform is basically embracing everything about yourself having that self-confidence, and obviously having the confidence to speak out about the things that are important to you, be it animal rescue, be it problems in our community, be it Indigenous rights, be it Black rights, um, be it any of these problems. I mean, like in this last year, what have we seen? We've seen targeted Asian hate, which has been absolutely disgusting. There is no place for any of that. That is absolutely disgusting, especially the people that decided to go and target elderly people. You are scum of the earth. And I filter my mouth for absolutely no one. How dare you go and target somebody that can't even defend themselves? Like, what do you think? The amount of privilege that's just out here just needs to be stomped on.
Well, did you hear about the incident in London, Ontario?
Yep.
Yeah, I just saw that and I was like, what? It doesn't stop,
This is
does
the
it?
misconception that people have. It's like, oh, Canada is just has no problems. This is utopia. I'm like, that's cap. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard. Did we not just find 215 Indigenous children in a mass grave?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to come and pretend like this is utopia? You need to check yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or I will check you. Basically. But I mean, if you have anything that's close to your heart, or if you have anything that really you're passionate about, speak about it. Don't filter your ideas for anyone, especially if your ideas and your passion is going to do good in this world. Because honestly, we have too much hate going on in the world. I have had to take so many breaks because it's just too overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
And we need more people that, when, for example, I take a break, can come back and be like, you rest, girl, I got this for you. And we need to be able to unite as communities, because this whole segregated type of advocacy is clearly not working. It's not working, because we have had we had BLM come through. We had Stop Asian Hate come through, APPI, AAPI, sorry, my dyslexia is kicking in.
It's okay.
Stop Asian Hate. And then we have Indigenous Lives Matters, but we're treating it as if they are three separate problems. And obviously, when it comes to the Muslim community as well, that's a huge problem. I mean, like, why are we treating these as four different problems when there is just one united problem, which is racism? Why are we not treating this as a whole, where you should just accept people regardless of their creed, regardless of their race? I honestly don't see why this is such a hard thing for some people, but obviously it is. And it's just becoming more aggressive as time progresses. And we seriously need to sit down or stand up and fight against it, because we've been using our very polite words for way too long. And now it's time to, I'm not saying we're throwing hands. I'm not saying no violence up in here. No, but we definitely need to use some stronger words, because the next words are definitely not working.
Yeah. No, and I think, everything that you said is true. And I think your platform is very powerful, because like you said, within this past year, there's just so much that has come out of this pandemic. It's a whole pandemic on its own. And I think, people like yourself, I know I've used my platform as well. People like Cindy, she's used her platform. The more people who are starting to use their voices and not be scared anymore, I think that's the most important. And having someone like you who is using your voice, and as loud as it is, same with, I think you, myself, and Cindy, we were all pretty loud vocally.
Yes.
So I think, it's kind of...
For that, by the way, you guys are, I don't even know how you guys have so much energy to be constantly advocating, because it's tiresome. Cindy is constantly on top of it. I was like, girl, like, don't you take any rest for yourself? Like, sometimes I'm like, do you need a hug? Like, what can I supply for you so you can keep going? Like, thank you guys. Like, I think that sometimes we also forget to thank our allies and forget to thank the people that are using their platform and using their voices, even if it is for the same united cause. We got to thank each other and just, give each other that push.
Exactly. And be a tag team, like you said. When you need a break, girl, I got you. And then we rotate. But no, I think, your platform is very powerful. I think what you're doing is very powerful. And I know that this isn't not just because it's your pageant platform, but because this is something that you have believed in so strongly before pageantry, since, you're still a pageant baby technically. And, I love the work that you do for your community. You invited myself and some of the other queens to one of your events before the pandemic, and just seeing, fundraising for Nicaragua, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the things that you do for your community, the things that you do literally for your community, but everyone outside of it. You truly are an ally. And I see that with your posts. I see that with your words and your actions. And I think that, you are changing the world, whether it be in law, whether it be in music, whether it be through pageantry. And I think you're just such an amazing person with a great personality. And I do hope that you continue to shine, not just in the world, but also in the pageant world.
Make me cry. Stop this.
Okay, fine. Anyways, goodbye. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, like I said, the reason for the show is for people to get to know you and get to see your heart and your soul, and not just what they see on a picture or an Instagram. Because, I didn't know that you've been doing your volunteer work for your community for so long, until we saw you hands-on with everything in that fundraiser. So there's so much more to you than people really know.
I actually don't really like to publish the stuff that I do, just because I don't know, I'm not very comfortable with all of it most of the time. But for example, I'm organizing. I kind of need to promote it this time, because we're trying to make
promote it
a larger event. But basically, we're trying to see if we can put together a gala for towards the end of the year. Same thing. It's a community in Nicaragua. My grandmother does this event every single year. She's been able to build 2 schools. So now what we want to do is try to offer kind of more funding, and see if we can permit some of the kids that drop out of school. I mean, they drop out before like the 8th grade. So education is not even the top of the list for any of them. Like basic survival is at the top of their list. So what we want to try and do is make sure that, first of all, that they can have 3 square meals a day while they go to school, but that they don't have to drop out of school because, for example, they don't have the $20 Canadian that costs to get them the school uniform for the year type of situation. So hopefully we can put that event together, and COVID is not so rampant towards the end of the year, that we can actually have more people together. But I mean, if it goes through, hopefully, because we'd be helping a lot of kids out.
100%, especially now during this pandemic. I think other countries, especially third world countries, they need it more than we do right now. I know we joke around that Ontario has gone crazy, but first world problems, really. For sure, let me know once you have the full details, and I'll share it with everyone watching today. But for those who are watching, if you're interested in potentially donating or attending this event, make sure you check out all of Macielle's social medias. The links are in the description. Everything but Twitter, because she does not go on Twitter.
I really don't.
No worries. So as we start to wrap things up, time is flying when you're having fun. What are some of the things that, you said you were looking forward to the most, but what are some things that, now that you know what is going to happen, are you more, I guess, nervous about?
Oh gosh, as it's a love-hate relationship with the swimsuit category. It truly is. Because after I had to get glued down into mine, and then it was like a hassle to get out of it. Like, people forget you have to do quick changes, and you kind of have to like wash that glue off so that you don't stick to your next outfit.
Oh goodness.
That's kind of like a love-hate relationship. Definitely really looking forward to it, but overall, I'm just really excited to see who takes which category. And just, I mean, like, the competition this year is just so stiff.
Yep.
With so many of us in each category, I've been checking out all of these girls, and they are all incredibly talented, stunning, amazing women. I don't know, those judges are going to have a horribly hard time.
I'm just glad I'm not competing this year.
Girl.
I'm just saying.
So lucky. That's all I'm saying. You are so lucky. You so lucky. You, Denise. Nicole.
But you know what though? I think you also have it lucky because you had the extra couple of years to prepare, and you now have all of these amazing sisters that you wouldn't have had if the pageant happened. Like you said, there was 10 girls, now there's 40 plus. That's a lot of people. So I know it's a little bit intimidating, but I'm so excited for you. With swimwear, you're gonna kill it. You have the confidence for it. Like you said, you're changing your eating habits and changing your lifestyle. So I think you're going to kill it no matter what. And you telling me a little bit about the swimwear, I'm excited to see it, and I might have to link up with you and get myself one too.
Oh, please do. Like, I'm not sharing my link just yet, guys. Sorry.
Wait until September. Exactly.
But they are a smaller company. They're a small Black-owned company, so like any support that they get would be really amazing and vibrant. They're based out of Miami, but I will be sharing all of that information later on. My goal for this round is to get all of my outfits from either small independently owned companies or by companies that are owned, like minority owned. So I'm trying to avoid big box. I'm trying to avoid all of that because at the end of the day, I think we've seen what the pandemic does to smaller businesses. So I think we really need to try, and I know it's a lot more expensive. I know we're all broke. Trust me, I know. I'm a CERB baby too. Like I know, but we got to try and at least one of the outfits, at least, No,
100%. Well, hopefully, the world is opening up again. We're finally getting out of lockdown, and I know your industry outside of law has been impacted tremendously, but I'm sure you'll be very busy once things open up into phase 2.
You know too much.
I'm going to come visit you. But in the meantime, we are at the end of our show. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest and for making me laugh because we're in this pandemic and sometimes we need a good laugh. But as we wrap things up, do you have any last words that you'd like to say to our viewers?
I'm going to keep this short and corny.
Yes.
Be nice to everybody. Just be nice to each other. You really don't know who's going through what. Some people are very brave with their faces and they're really at their last strand. So be kind to each other. If you can be there for somebody, be there for them. My inbox is always open and I'm doing much better, so I can handle a lot more now. Even if you just need to have a short conversation or vent, I am open for vent sessions. Hit me up.
I love that. And again, all of the information to where to find you is in the description below. So make sure you check her out. Thank you so much for joining us today, Macielle. It's been an honor having you on the show. Like I said, I have not laughed so hard in a very long time. And no one heard it because I was muted, but thank you for that.
No problem, girl. Thank you so much for having me. I was kind of like, oh no, I have to do something. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. And I thank you so much for having me. Like, there's really no words to express it.
You're so welcome. And I'm sure you made everyone else laugh alongside us. We've had a few viewers watching. So thank you to all of those who watched today. If you enjoyed this interview, make sure you give it a thumbs up. We are at episode 40 as of Wednesday, so make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying these episodes and watching along and learning as well as we go. So we will see you all on Wednesday. Macielle, I will see you in 75 days.
I'm so excited.
I am so excited as well. But hey, if your industry opens up again, I might see you before that because like I said, you will be busy.
Nobody
knows what you do. It's fine. Nobody knows.
And you're making it sound so shady too. Just like your industry that's closed and no one knows and no one's gonna find out.
Every industry. I'm in the hospitality industry. I hope I'm busy by the end of this. There's no event, so what can I
That's
do?
true.
There
That's
you
so
go.
true.
You could work at a restaurant, you could work in hospitality. Nobody knows. Every industry has been damaged right now.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
It's not shady.
Okay.
It's not shady. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching us this evening. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed Macielle's story. And again, make sure you follow her and the links in the description. And again, give this video a thumbs up. We will see you for episode 40 on Wednesday. It's crazy how this is happening. And again, I will see you in 75 days, girl. Stay safe, stay lovable, and stay spicy.
Ooh, I like that last one.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.